Modern life has made people more connected, and somehow more lonely. More entertained, and somehow more empty. More productive, and somehow more exhausted. And what's strange is human beings were warned about nearly all of this thousands of years ago. Not by influencers, not by productivity gurus, not by algorithms, but by philosophers, mystics, generals, writers, thinkers. People who lived long before smartphones, long before social media, long before the attention economy, and somehow understood the human mind better than we do now. Because technology evolved. But human nature didn't. The ancient problem never changed. The strange thing about human history is how often the scenery changes, while the psychology stays the same. We changed the buildings, the clothes, the technology, the speed of communication, but human beings still wrestle with the same inner battles. Fear, ego, desire, distraction, identity, meaning. The modern world likes to behave as though humanity has become more advanced emotionally. But I'm not convinced that's true. I think we've become more stimulated, but not necessarily more wise. Ancient philosophers repeatedly warned people about excess. Too much pride, too much desire, too much comfort or force or noise. And modern civilization somehow turned all of them into industries. Now entire systems profit from insecurity, outrage, comparison, overstimulation, addiction, emotional dependency. Because a calm human being is difficult to manipulate. And ancient wisdom understood that long before we did. Taoism warned about force. The Tao Te Ching repeatedly warns against force in life, against gripping too tightly, against trying to overpower existence itself. And honestly, modern civilization seems almost entirely built upon the opposite philosophy. Force your productivity, force confidence and healing, force your body, force your brand, force success. Everything's become optimization. And modern life treats human beings like machines. And eventually people have begun treating themselves that way too. Wake up earlier, sleep less, consume more, track more, measure more. But somewhere in all that optimization, people stopped asking what actually feels meaningful. Taoism warned us that life flows best when we stop fighting ourselves constantly. Wu Wei was never laziness, it was alignment. Movement without unnecessary resistance. But modern people have become so accustomed to emotional friction that peace now feels unfamiliar. Silence feels uncomfortable, stillness feels guilty. Rest feels unproductive. And maybe that's why so many people feel spiritually exhausted. Not because they're weak, but because they've spent years fighting themselves. Sun Tzu actually warned us about conflict. The art of war is often misunderstood. People treat it like a manual for domination. But Sun Tzu repeatedly warns against unnecessary conflict. He understood something modern culture struggles to understand. The greatest victories are not won through force. Look at the internet. Everyone is fighting. Strangers, opinions, identity battles, fighting for politics or fighting emotionally. People wake up angry before they even leave bed. And algorithms reward that. Because outrage, it keeps people engaged. Sun Tzu would probably see this as weakness, not strength. Because reactive people are controllable people. Some of the strongest people I've ever met were calm, measured, difficult to provoke, not because they felt nothing, but because they understood that emotional discipline protects your energy. Modern culture encourages emotional impulsiveness. Ancient wisdom encouraged emotional mastery. And those are two very different philosophies. Napoleon Hill warned us about drifting. Napoleon Hill described something called drifting, living unconsciously, allowing fear and comfort and distraction and all of the external influence to steer your life for you. And honestly, modern civilization just went and made drifting profitable. You can now drift indefinitely, scroll endlessly, consume endlessly, watch endlessly. Entire industries now compete for your attention every second of the day because your attention became currency, and eventually people stopped directing their minds intentionally and started outsourcing their focus to algorithms. Hill believed drifting slowly disconnects people from purpose, what he called a definiteness of purpose. And I think you can feel that happening everywhere now. People are overstimulated, but directionless. Connected, but lonely. Busy, but internally numb. And the frightening thing is, drifting often feels comfortable while it's happening. And that's why it's dangerous. Now, our modern world rewards dysregulation. This might be the strangest part of modern life. The world often rewards the exact psychological states ancient wisdom warned against. Stillness became unproductive, silence became uncomfortable, attention became currency, identity became performance, and modern people are just constantly encouraged to react faster and consume more and post more and compare more, be more visible, be more impressive. But ancient wisdom was rarely concerned with becoming impressive. It was concerned with becoming aligned and balanced, present, aware. Even spirituality has become an aesthetic now. Even healing's become a performance now. Even peace has become content now. And I think a lot of us feel exhausted because we no longer know where the performance ends and where we begin. Ancient wisdom was never about becoming impressive. This is where I think modern self-improvement culture has often lost the point. Ancient philosophy was not sigma edits and domination fantasies and optimization obsession and emotional suppression and becoming superior. It was usually about self-mastery, discipline, inner peace, awareness, alignment with your purpose. It was about balance. Marcus Aurelius constantly reflected on humility. Taoism encourages softness. Buddhism warned about attachment. Sun Tzu valued restraint. Jung warned people about ignoring the shadow within themselves. None of them were teaching people how to become machines. They were teaching people how to become whole. And maybe that's the part modern culture forgot. Maybe ancient wisdom survives because human beings keep creating the same suffering in different forms. The names change, the technology changes, the distractions evolve, but the inner battle remains the same. Fear, ego, detachment, distraction, meaning, identity. Human beings are still wrestling with themselves, just now with Wi-Fi. And maybe the future does not need more stimulation. Maybe it needs remembrance. Maybe wisdom was never lost. Maybe we simply stopped listening. Make impact beautiful.